Hello friends, my name is Beroz and welcome to my channel where I talk about tips, tricks that I read and learn and apply on myself in order to become my best version. Now in this video, I will talk about all the tax, cost and fees that are involved and you have to incur if you are going to buy a new house from a builder. So I recently went through an experience of purchasing a new house from a builder, whereby apart from the price list for the house, there were a lot of hidden costs which I only realized as I went through the process. Now before going in the details of the cost, let me lay out that I went for a townhouse which was built within a year's time, as against a condo which takes at least 4 years. Now I purchased at a time when the market was relatively hot in Canada and it was difficult to contact the builders in order to buy a house from them. Therefore, I took a state agent route whereby I found a state agent who can find me a new house from a builder. These state agents primarily make their money by getting a commission from the builder for bringing a customer to them. So with every sale, they make certain amount of commission. Now in this video, I will talk about all the hidden costs that are involved when you are going to purchase a new house from a builder in Canada. My experience was with buying a townhouse in the Greater Toronto area which took 1 year to build. On the other hand, usually a condo takes around 4 years to build. So it took around 10 months starting from my first payment to my closing date. And you can usually expect the same timeline for a house which is around 10 months to 15 months. Now let's start talking about the cost. First and foremost is the price of the house itself, which was around $950,000, requiring an advance payment of around 10%, which is $95,000. This advance payment of $95,000 was supposed to be paid in 4 tranches, distributed over 4 months. So $10,000 as a deposit when you sign the agreement of purchase, another $30,000 a month later. Then comes another $30,000 that you pay 2 months after signing the purchase agreement. And the last payment of this $95,000 advance, which is $25,000 to be paid 3 months after signing the purchase agreement. So in essence, paying that $95,000 in 4 tranches. Once these payments are done, then you just wait for the closing date. While the builder will provide you with the closing date in advance, however, that date may get pushed by 2 to 4 months, and this is very normal. So now you just wait for the closing date to arrive, and that is when you have to pay all an entire balance of the payment. This is where all the hidden costs will start showing up. While you may be thinking that you just need to make the balance of the payment, however, there are numerous hidden costs which will start to stack up to become a mountain in itself, such as registration fees, services fees, lawyer fee, taxation, and so on and so forth. So just a few months before the closing, you will incur your second major expense. This is when the builder will contact you regarding any upgrades in your house. At minimum, you should expect to incur or invest somewhere around $2,500 in upgrades. I personally didn't go for extensive upgrades because I was not intending to live in that house. Rather, I was intending to put that house on rent. So I just went with minimum required upgrades that would make the value of the house for the tenant look good. In 2,500 Canadian dollars, the upgrades that I went with were changing the kitchen countertop, the kitchen cooking area back wall, and the extension of the cabinet above the refrigerator. Now then comes the time of the closing where you will incur all the remaining costs. These costs will essentially have 2 parts. One major part will go to the builder and the second part will go to the lawyer. However, all these costs will be collected by the lawyer and hence they will be distributed to the builder, to the lawyer itself, and to the tax authorities. So now let's go into the breakup of costs that will be paid to the builder. Land taxes of around $310, which is paid by the builder on my behalf. Then comes the electronic registration fee of $283, which is for doing all the electronic registration that the builder is doing on my behalf. Then comes the transaction levy charges, which is approximately $74 paid to the law society on sale of property. The next major one is the cost of warranty, where I incurred approximately $1,700. This is the cost of warranty that you pay on the house in case there are any issues that come up later in the house once you have moved in or once your tenant have moved in. This could be any malfunctioning in the machinery in the house or in the structure of the house. All of that is covered under this warranty, for which I paid approximately $1,700. Then the status certificate, which is around $113, which is fee charged to get status certificate. And then I personally incurred an additional fee of around $900 given I requested for an extension of my closing date. This could be for numerous reasons. The reason I went for the extension was because I was not prepared with all the paperwork that was required for my mortgage, and hence I requested for 1 month's extension. This is the fee charged by the builder's lawyer. This includes the fee for the lawyer plus the paperwork. The fee for the lawyer for extension is around $600 and the balance is for the documentation. And then I incurred $121 for POTL expenses. These are the expenses that my property would be incurring on monthly basis for maintenance of the neighborhood. So this is the charge for the month in which the closing took place, and this money was paid to the maintenance agency by the builder for the first month. On ongoing basis, this would be incurred by myself. Then is HCRA registration fee. Last but not the least is $24,000 worth of HST. Now here note the price of the house that I was initially quoted already included the federal portion of HST, which is 5%, and the Ontario or the provincial portion of the HST, which is 8%. However, out of that 8%, which is the provincial portion of the HST, max $24,000 can be taken as a rebate from the government. So since the builder knows that you will go ahead and apply for that rebate, that is why they charge you for that $24,000 worth of HST on top of the sale price. Now, unlike me, if you're going to live in that house yourself, you can ask the builder to take this $24,000 off the bill and they can claim it directly from the government themselves. However, in case you will go ahead and put the house on rent, which was in my case the situation, then in that case, this is kind of a cash hurt for around 2 to 3 weeks. That is the time it will take for you to file the rebate and get the rebate from the government. You will file this rebate under type 6. You can Google type 6 rebate under new rental property rebate. If you have an online CRA account, you can do it online by clicking on HST GST rebates and then filing for type 6. In addition to all these expenses, I got a discount of around $2,000 from the builder. So the net expenses that I incurred with the builder on top of my upgrades in the house was around $1,500. I expect to pay somewhere around 0.15% for all the miscellaneous expenses to the builder and an additional 0.25% for any upgrades in the house. So a total of around 0.4 to 0.5% in addition. Now note, I didn't include the $24,000 HST which I paid because this will be only a cash hurt for a couple of weeks till this rebate comes back to you. Now the second portion of the expenses is the one which is taken up by the lawyer. This includes lawyer fee and some miscellaneous charges that the lawyer incurs, plus the tax that the lawyer pays to the government on your behalf. Tax here would be the biggest portion, which was around $14,000 in my case. The major expense other than the taxes would be the lawyer fee, which in my case was around $1,500 including the HST. Second was $882 for title insurance, which was one-time premium paid to title insurance for buying title insurance on the purchased property. Another one is around $170 for non-resident speculation tax, which is documents that have to be filed for stating that I'm not a non-resident Canadian, so that I'm not charged the 15% non-resident tax. Then I incurred another $170. This is for the cost of extension that I requested, and this is the part of the extension fee that I had to pay to my lawyer. Other than that, there was $160 for registration, which was electronic registration fee paid to government land department for registering transfer and charge. And lastly, $65 charge for wire transfer of all the money that I paid through the lawyer. So all in all, tax is around 1.45% of the total value of the house, and on top expect around 0.3% to be paid to the lawyer for other miscellaneous stuff, including the lawyer's own fee. So this bucket comes out to be somewhere between 1.7 to 1.8%. So in addition to the asking value of the house, you should expect to incur somewhere around 2 to 2.5% of the total value of the house as additional expenses at the time of the closing. So all these expenses in my case total to $21,000. And again note, I'm not including the $24,000 worth of HST which was paid to my builder. This will come back to me as a rebate from the provincial government. So all in all, the house that was $960,000 on paper ended up costing me somewhere around $982,000 in total. Note, you might incur some fee with regards to applying for the mortgage, which would be some paperwork, which should be not more than around $300, which in my case was waived off just because there was a promotion going on with the bank from which I got my mortgage. Hopefully this was helpful for you to have a fair idea of what kind of closing cost and what kind of hidden costs you should be expecting when you're buying a new house in Canada, in Ontario. Thank you for watching this video.